Can you see me yet?
No, I still can't see you. Now I can.
How you doing?
I am good. I am good.
Awesome.
So,
There you go.
welcome everyone. This is Monday, December 13th, 2021. Um, we are glad to be, of course, in the land of the living. Welcome to Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. I am your host, Camila, aka Sunshine. We are live on Spotify. We are live on Facebook. We are live on GrooveRadioDetroit.com, and we are live on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so, like and share. It is the name of the show. Most importantly, again, always, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You're one person away, one advice away, and one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. And tonight, I am excited to have a wonderful guest here in Matthew. I always let people know how I know the person. So technically, I have not met you in person, but
Yeah.
I met you through Main Event, who
Mhm.
told me this is somebody you really need to talk to. And so we're here today. And while I'm getting everything together, you can just say hello to the people.
Yep. Hello. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much, Camila, for having me on. I really appreciate you taking the time to have me here. I know you could have had a ton of people, so just the fact that you have me here, I'm very grateful for that, and grateful for your viewers, and grateful for all the good things that you're doing. I've heard great things about you for Main Event, and you got a supporter in me for sure. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks a lot for
Wow, thank you. You got me over here blushing.
that.
So, we're gonna do a little bio before we get into my
Sure.
many million questions that I have.
Sure.
So just to let you guys know, Matthew, can you pronounce your last name for me?
Sure. It's Renteria.
Renteria.
Renteria. Yeah.
Um,
It's pretty easy.
he has worked with famous athletes, celebrities, CEOs, billionaires, and business owners around the country. He has been called to leadership beginning at the age of 17 when he has presented the youngest Southwest region store manager position of a prominent grocery store food chain. Since then, he has become a multi six figure. Let me say that one more time. A multi six-figure earner in 9 different industries and has earned awards for investing and business innovation, including being named Young Entrepreneur of the State of Texas in 2012. And it goes on and on and on, being called the $1 million business strategist because he has the rare ability to find the key things in your business or investments that can make all the difference. So, at the age of 17, where was your mind frame to start, being a part of a business?
Absolutely. Yeah. So entrepreneurship, I think it runs heavy in my bloodline. Growing up, I didn't have much. I have the rags to riches type story, but I didn't have much. So I saw at a young age that if I wanted something, I had to go get it. I had to make it happen for myself. Nothing was going to be given to me. So I developed a mind frame of that at that young age. I started doing stuff for myself, whether it was selling candy at school or whatever it was, just to be able to, have a little extra, whatever it was. So entrepreneurship was something that was like deeply embedded in me, I think, because of the struggle that I grew up in. So it was just something that I said, you know what, I like this. I like being able to make things happen for myself. And if things don't happen, then I'm okay with looking myself in the mirror and saying, it's your fault they didn't happen. So, entrepreneurship was something that I think that was, like I said, it was embedded in me. It was something I grew up with, something that I just kind of, I fell into just because of where I was from and what I was going through at the time.
So, you're from Texas, correct?
So I was born in Texas. I was raised in California. Then I moved back to Texas.
Okay. So, what you said struggle. So, what type of struggles
Yeah.
did you have?
Yeah, my parents were, they were, addicted to drugs at a young age. We felt we went through the whole poverty struggle. Homeless at times. Just living from here to there. Very malnutrition without a lot. So seeing that and going through that made me believe that there has to be something better in this world. Like God has something better, right? So it was that struggle that helped me really push myself through entrepreneurship. And then once I got a taste of a little success, I say, you know what? I think that this is really something. This is my calling, right? To be an entrepreneur, but more importantly, to be an entrepreneur that helps people. And a lot of my success is due to the fact that I put people first, and I've always tried to help people because I feel like if you help enough people in life get what they want, in return, you're gonna have everything you need and want. So yeah, the struggle was real growing up. The struggle was 100% real, and I went through it. So I hope through my success, I inspire other people to know that they can come out of the worst places and make something of themselves, even if they're not a famous athlete or a rapper or an entertainer. They could be a businessman, and they can be successful.
Absolutely. I was very excited not only just to talk to you, but again, I found out that you guys will be partner with us in Blacktop Streetball Association, which I will probably be seeing you more and more.
For sure.
And again, to at a young age to have that mindset was very impressive to me. And I feel that a lot of times we have ideas, but we don't push forward to try to figure out how to make this thing happen. So at 17, um, what was that first job like? Were you working?
Yes, I always yeah. So I was working in a grocery store. I was just like a bagger or whatever the case is. But I always had drive, determination, and I always had the ability because of the street life, right? I had the ability to put two and two together and see things kind of form before they formed. And you got to get have that quote unquote street smart. So I had that, right, and I decided to self educate myself, right. I think that it's important to self educate yourself. I don't know if like traditional college is for everybody, but I think that reading books and helping your mind to expand and stuff like that, whether it's through reading or seminars or watching videos now, even nowadays on YouTube, can help you learn a lot. So I had the street smarts. I had to mirror it with the book smarts. So I started reading. I wanted to gain knowledge on business and investing in life and all kinds of different things. So I took those things, and then people started noticing, wow, this is a guy that shouldn't just be a bagger. Maybe he deserves an assistant manager role. So I went to assistant manager, store manager, and then eventually, one of the youngest to ever, be a store manager in the chain. But obviously, that was not my drive, but it gave me a lot of experience that I think I needed later in life. Just dealing with people, dealing with issues, problems, learning how to stay patient when people are not in the best mood. So all that retail experience kind of gave me that.
Absolutely. Um, One of the questions, I've been a friend of mine, we were having a conversation about the millionaire mindset. And there were 17 principles about the mindset of a millionaire, how to not even if you don't get to the millionaire status per se, but just the thoughts and the feelings that you have to keep that drive going. So one of the things it said, one of the questions or statements it said, did you know where you were going before you started?
Yeah, I think it's super important to set goals, and to set expectations for yourself, but also to know that you're a work in progress, right? So I think that goal setting is important, but knowing like if I don't reach that goal like by this mark, I didn't fail. I'm still
Okay.
moving forward. And a lot of times it takes you looking, okay, I didn't reach the goal I set for myself in 1 year, but let me look back. Where was I 1 year ago? And just seeing that progress that you have made can sometimes be all that you need to keep going forward. So yes, it's very important to set goals, but at the same time, understanding that you're a work in progress and you're growing and you're getting better every day, and you just got to keep doing that because things don't always fall into place just like we want them to. But if you stay consistent, persistent, then you're gonna eventually get what you want, because the universe will eventually conform and say, this person's not going away, man. We just got to give them what they want, and that's the belief that I've adapted. So I'm like, I have an acronym that I've kind of went by, and it's called PUSH, and it's persist until something happens. Like that's been my acronym. That's been something I've went by. My motto is like push, just keep pushing forward, just keep pushing, right? Just be persistent and keep going, because eventually the universe will conform and you'll get everything that you want and deserve for sure.
It also said, ask the question, were there any affirming statements that you said to yourself daily? Like, I believe XYZ. Were there anything that you would say to yourself?
Yeah. So it's a crazy story I tell it sometimes, is that, when I was really looking to change my mind frame, my subconscious mind, I used to watch the movie The Secret. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's a movie that kind of says you can have everything you want in life if you just develop the right mindset. So I watched this movie every night for a year straight. And I also listened to audios when I went to sleep, because growing up the way I did, I didn't know a lot of things. So I used to listen, like, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy, I'm grateful, I'm divine, I'm this, that, right? I used to listen to these affirmations as I'll fall asleep. And what I did was I retrained my subconscious mind to think when I was awake and conscious that anything was possible. And that's literally, I believe, what really changed my life, and then it was just staying consistent with everything else I was doing. But instead of saying like I'm broke, I was thinking the money's coming, right? I'm just changing what I'm saying to the universe to get back what I want. I'm not saying I'm broke, I'm saying the money's coming. It's saying the same thing, just in a different realm. You're giving the universe what you want instead of what you don't want, and it's going to deliver. It's all there's a power in the tongue, power to your words. So absolutely, I think that's what changed it for me. Changed everything really.
Yes. So a lot of times, we always say speak those things as though they were. And it's almost a connection into what you see. You are what you eat. Those type of things that we speak it into existence. And so when we speak it out, our actions should be start going into the path and forward to what you're already saying and what you're already believing. And so that's a good point to actually keep saying it, regardless if you see negativity. Of course, the enemy wants to come in and distract you and to make you stop, because really he don't want you to be happy. He don't want you to be successful, because guess what, with success now you can turn around and help others.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And that's what I've always told people. They're saying, "Oh, like I'm so close to achieving this, or I'm so close to doing this, and I'm hitting this huge obstacle." And I say the devil always puts the biggest obstacles right before your biggest blessing is coming. So just power through that, keep going, don't stop, find a way to get around it, keep going, because believe me, that's his last line of defense. He's trying to put this big thing in front of you that makes you say, I was close, but I give up. Like, hell no. That's when your blessing's right behind that. So keep going through that. So yeah, that's huge. It's having that belief that it's gonna happen, and knowing that the enemy is always lurking and trying to bring you down. So I believe in it.
Absolutely. Also, it said that the more success that you have, or the ones that stay being successful, continue with the money, continue with all of these things, is how much they serve people. And you have already been saying it with I'm helping people, and in turn, basically God is continuing to bless you because you are blessing others. So I commend you on that mind frame, because you have no reason to lose, because here you are opening doors for other people, sharing your knowledge, because I know that you are constantly during the year giving seminars and things like that, to help people in their endeavors to be successful too.
Yeah, I have like an unwilling like drive to serve people, and a lot of people say that, like, what does that mean? So for me, it's like giving back, whether it's going to a poverty ridden like middle school to talk to the kids about what can happen and what they can be, and show them some things that I've accomplished, and say, look, man, like you don't have to be a ball player. You don't have to be, an athlete, a singer or entertainer. If you do, that's great, and I hope you can. But even if you don't, you can still be successful. Or it's connecting the right people to the right people so that they may have success in their careers. Whatever it is, I treat the janitor with the same respect that I treat the CEO. I treat everybody across the board the same, and I want the best for people. I'm in a position where I know I've never had, but I don't have to like do something because it's going to benefit me. I do something because I feel like it's the right thing to do. It can help somebody further in their life. And I can tell people I didn't have a lot of good mentors growing up, and I didn't have a lot of good role models. So when I get the opportunity to do that, I take that as like, I take that responsibility as a whole, and I really try to help people.
Absolutely. And you just pointed out my next question of were there anyone that you could look up to? What exactly is your nationality, if you don't
I'm
mind me
Mexican.
asking?
Yeah, I'm
You're
Mexican.
Mexican?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I'm Mexican. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So that was more so the question, like in your nationality, did you have anyone to be like, okay, I want to be like this person, or finding some steps to following somebody else's footsteps, or are you just a trailblazer? What we doing?
My grandfather is a very prominent person in California. The United Farm Workers Movement. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Cesar Chavez led the United Farm Workers Movement in California. It was like a civil rights movement for all the farm workers, United Farm Workers. So my grandfather, his name is Gilbert Padilla. He founded the United Farm Workers with Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez was actually the best man at my parents' wedding. So my grandfather's always been a great organizer of people. He's just he was an alcoholic, so he was a little lazy, but he was a great organizer of people, could motivate people, could get things going. So I want to do what he did. I just want to elevate that. And a fun fact about me that I'll just kind of give you is like, being in that poverty ridden life, growing up and stuff. I promised myself that when I got older, I would never drink, smoke, do alcohol, any drugs whatsoever. So to this day, I'm 37 years old. I've never drank a lick of alcohol. I've never smoked uh, anything. I've never done any drugs whatsoever. The only thing I've done is like take ibuprofen or Tylenol to this day and age. And it was because I wanted to stay so focused. Like I still work more than I did before I had anything. Like I still work 12 to 16 hours a day just because I'm driven to create generational wealth for my kids. I have a ton of kids. They are the light of my life. And so, yes, I had my grandfather as somebody I wanted to kind of be like, but be better than. So other than that, I didn't really have anybody growing up. As I got older, there's a gentleman right up here that became a mentor of mine, and that was like when I was almost 30. But before that, no, I was just going. I was just going. I just wanted something more in life.
And that's good. I'm like I said, just hearing this conversation is doing wonders for me. I always say that sometimes being a trailblazer is not the easiest thing, because a lot of times you want to be able to learn from the mistakes of others, learn the lessons. And when you're a trailblazers, you don't have that ability to do that. You have to, get the headaches, the bumps and bruises, for somebody else to learn from your mistakes. So
Exactly.
again, with your grandfather being gathering the people in all of those situations, and learning from his mistakes with, not drinking and smoking and things of that nature. Again, the wealth that you have, not only on paper but also in your mind and your spirit, to be able to pass that on to others, is very commendable. um
Appreciate that.
how important is it to have self-discipline?
As an entrepreneur, that's there's two keys: self-discipline and patience. Those are the two most important things. Self-discipline, because when you work a 9 to 5 job, right? Okay, like so we're conditioned since we're in like kindergarten. You go to school, you go to the restroom when somebody tells you, you eat when somebody tells you, you leave when. So when you get out of that, out of school, right? It's like, okay, you start a job, they tell you what time to take lunch, they tell you when you're vacation, they tell you all that stuff. Well, when you're an entrepreneur, nobody tells you that. So you have to work 80 hours a week versus somebody working 40 hours a week. You have to put a lot of you have to have a lot of self-discipline. And everybody has flaws. And one of my biggest flaws was procrastination as I was younger. Oh, I'll do that later. Yeah, I'll take care of that later. So I think to become better, you have to know what your weaknesses are. So my weakness was procrastination. So now, like, if I'm not 15 minutes early, and that's why I was 15 minutes early here. If I'm not 15 minutes early, I'm late, and I almost have like a panic attack
Panic
because
attack, yes.
yeah, because I that was one of my weaknesses, and I want to be better than I was. Right, that's the goal. So that was one of my biggest keys was self discipline. Right, knowing that I have a busy schedule, but I have to make sure I make time for all these things. Like it's all work and then play when I have time, but self discipline is key. And then having patience to know that what you're doing, even though you don't see the fruits of your labor right away, you're planting those seeds, and eventually all those will start to bloom and you'll be successful. So self-discipline and patience are key if you're going to be an entrepreneur for sure. 100%.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that. If anyone knows me, I am a stickler on time. Like
Yeah, me
I
too.
can't stand people
Yeah.
who are late or make me late. I can't stand it. I want to say conditioned. I went to a church that it was mostly military people.
Mm,
And their thing was if you show up on time, you're late.
you're like, yeah,
You have to be at least 15 to 30 minutes early, just in case you have reaction time. And
exactly.
so it has been proven over and over again on different things that I'm glad I was super early and I had reaction enough time and I still was on time. And so again, that is one of the and I was also taught that being late has a connection to a poverty spirit.
Does
And so
does
I'm glad that again that you brought that out. So people who are late all the time, please get it together. Stop it.
yeah. No, honestly, too, what it does is it tells people you're worth my time. Like if I'm late, it gives people a negative connotation right off the back that like you don't care about their time, you don't value your time. Like, and to me, I would hate to set that first impression with anybody. It's like, um, you show people they're worth your time. You show people their spirit is worth your time. And those things right there, like I said, if I hadn't talked to you in 3 weeks, let's just say that I was like on a cruise and I hadn't talked to you in 3 weeks, and I promise you I would be here today at this time. If I didn't talk to you, I will be here. Like I tell people, if you need me for something and I make a schedule with you in 6 weeks and you don't talk to me the entire time, trust that I will be there because that's how much I value you. And so I think that's very important. And I think that is, a mental switch that if you're poverty, you grow up in poverty, that it's like, oh man, I'll get there whenever I have time, right? That's the mindset that we kind of develop. And changing those things, just changing that little thing can be a huge thing for a lot of people.
Also one of the statements it also made, which I thought was really good, was to let your imagination soar. Don't stop yourself from thinking big.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. You have to be so passionate about your dreams that people think you're crazy. You have to say things
Wow.
that people are like, what? Like this guy's crazy. And when they have that reaction, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm on the right path. Because if my dreams are so big that you can't vision them, then I know I'm thinking big enough. That's absolutely key.
Wow. Yes, I when it comes to imagination, sometimes depending on where you're around or who you're around, or in your season, they would say, would okay, you need to calm down, you need to focus on one thing, you need to do this. But if you're a multi person, which I am, I can do several things at one
Yeah,
time. If I'm only doing one thing, I feel like I left something, I'm not doing enough, or so I'm juggling all the time where I know what it takes to do this over here. I know how long it takes to do this. And it's my balance. What I do and what I was made to do or how I was made to do it is not everybody's plight. So,
exactly.
what do you say that to how you do things? Are you multitasking also?
Always, yeah, multitasking. But I'm gonna spin it a little bit like to basketball, right? When you play in basketball, everybody has their strengths and their weaknesses, just like people in business and in life, right? But it's very important when you're playing basketball. It's like know your personnel, know who I can pass the ball to like this, know who's going to hit this open shot, know who's going to slam dunk it when I need them to. So also in life, it's very important to know your personnel, know the people you work with, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, so you can make them better, right? So you don't put something on you that's not your forte. Let's just say I say handle the books and accounting, and you're like, man, I'm more of the operations on this side, right? Knowing your personnel and their strengths and weaknesses is only going to help you and your businesses grow more. So when I like interview somebody for a business or whatever it is, or I'm needing an assistant or whatever the case is, right off the bat, I ask them, what are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses, right? What I have a conversation with them, not an interview. It's a conversation like this because I need to know the personality. I'm a very good judge of character and personality and understanding, reading between the lines. So I say, okay, well, this person can be really good at this, and this person is really good at this. So it's putting that personality together to make yourself more successful, and that's a key to being an entrepreneur and building a great team around yourself.
I'm glad you brought that up. So that leads me to my next question. So we all know that with being successful, yes, you might be the visionary, but it takes a team, as we say, the village as well, to really get everything stabilized, moving forward. So we can't be an island, it's me. We do need help. So speak about that as well.
Yeah. So yeah, just going back to that team. A team is important. It's probably one of the most important things. If you want to, they say if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to, if you want to be extremely successful and go long, then go with the team, right? If you want to trailblaze and get there really, really fast, yeah, you'll get there, but you'll be more successful if you have the team backing you and you'll go further in life. So I think that having the team is the most important thing one of the most important things that you can do because it's only going to ensure your longevity in business and in life. And then treating that team like they're worth something, right? Like I said, the janitor, right? Maybe somebody that comes and cleans my house or mows my lawn outside. I always go outside and I say, hey, how you doing, man? Thanks again for, thanks for taking care of this. You want a drink? You want something? Because it's just like showing the person, like, I don't care if you clean my house or you mow my lawn, you're still worth something. And who knows, down the future, just being good to people because it's the right thing to do will help you develop even a stronger team. Like in the future, maybe I'm looking for another business investment and he has a very successful lawn business. It's like, look, I'm thinking about getting you out of this business. Maybe I'd be interested in selling you my business. And then I was like, something could happen. Who knows? But just doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do and building a strong team is always, super important.
I agree with that. And with you being nice, going out your way for people, you never know what doors and what favor you will get by being yourself and going the extra mile for people. It has been proven over and over again, not just with the 6 degrees of separation, but I will always tell people, even as a team leader, that it pays to be nice.
It does. It
Um,
does.
you'll find that one person to tell you more information or tell you the avenues, just by you being nice. The smile, the hello, the door openings, the everything people notice about you. Um, and even just someone talking about you to another person, like this
Exactly.
conversation
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
happened because of a certain situations. And I'm like, I was telling someone, I said, as popular as our 6 degree separation person is, he could tell your information or send your interview to anyone.
Exactly.
Anyone.
Exactly.
He touches so many places and people that he don't have to do what he does. And so I'm grateful. I always say thank you. I always say, whoever wants to talk, please send them my way. I'll never get the big head. I'll never do anything to jeopardize this connection, just like
Absolutely.
with this. So
Yep.
I think it's very important that people understand it really truly pays to be nice.
Absolutely, it does. And one of the things growing older as I got a mentor, he told me, he said, to be a super successful entrepreneur, and you have to have a hard head, so you don't let things discourage you, but you have to have a soft heart for people. Meaning you have to serve people, have a soft heart. So he's like, he always tell me, have a hard head and a soft heart. Because if you have a hard head, you'll run through anything, you won't get discouraged, you'll keep going. But have a soft heart to be able to serve people. And I've always adapted that belief, and I've always ran with that. It's like, yeah, I'm hard enough to go through whatever you say I can't do, but I'm also here to have a soft heart, listen to people, be here for people, and serve people, because that's genuinely what I believe will bring you the most success.
So, how important, now this is a big one. How important is budgeting time and money?
Well, time is money, so finding the balance of that is very important. And I think that when I first started, honestly, I worked myself 16 hours straight for maybe 8 to 10 years. I just worked. I was whatever I had to do. It didn't matter. I did it, and eventually I burned myself out, and I was like, well, I'm really tired. So if I had to tell people, that 20-year-old kid that's looking at this right now, that's saying like, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I want to be, I want to be this, I want to be that, is like, have patience and self-discipline, going back to those things, because patience was something I didn't understand at an early age. And I think a lot of young people don't understand patience. But having patience and trusting the process is key, because you got to find time for yourself. If not, your body get torn down, you mentally get torn down, and nothing happens well. So time is money, right? The more time that you can dedicate to um, helping yourself grow, but also relaxing, I think it'll help you go further in life and in business. Honestly, I truly do, after going through that experience.
So, basically, you have to have a balanced life.
You gotta have balanced life. You gotta have balanced life, and it's about enjoying your time out, like literally enjoying your time out. There'll be times when I work a lot, and then I just don't look at my phone for a whole day. I'm just with the family. I'm just enjoying myself, watching movies, eating food, and just relaxing, right? Because that's really what life is about at the end of the day. And it's very important, or it's very hard not to get distracted with the phone. It's always in your face. There's always things that can happen, things you can be doing. It's saying, okay, I've worked hard. I need to take a little break. This is important. Balance is important for sure.
So, as a when we talking about balance, what are some things that you actually do to balance?
Balance, okay, yeah, not awesome. Like I said, spending time with the family. I make sure that I try to go work out. I have a little gym in my garage, or I go running. I play basketball, obviously it's a love of mine. Finding things finding things that I can do that separate my mind from business, right? They say when you do something like you actually love, which is basketball. I like to play basketball. Can't play like I used to. I'm a little older now, but like, I love to play. And when I do, I don't think about numbers. I don't think about business. I don't think about marketing. I don't think about advertising. I don't think about anything. I just enjoy myself. When I'm with my kids and we're watching a movie, my phones are away, the computers are away, just thinking about that time with them there. So some of the things that I do to, free my mind is find things that I enjoy to do. Some people go work out, some people do yoga, whatever it is you do. Some people go dancing. Do that more often, right? Do that at least a little bit, because it's super important, super important.
So, with the success, I know with being creative, it's a hard time to shut your brain down while you're sleeping.
Yeah, 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 yep. So you also have to understand yourself, right? I'm a night owl. Like I think a lot of successful entrepreneurs are. I'm a night owl, and it's like, I do work at night. I get a lot of business and work done at night, but also an hour before I'm gonna go to bed, I shut everything down, lay down, I watch a show or TV, whatever it is I do to kind of numb my brain. Have a drink, and just not alcoholic, but like, juice or something, and then just relax, like breathe and breathe it out and relax. I don't ever go straight from working straight to bed. I always take that time to mentally relax. So I wake up the next day feeling like I'm refreshed, right? If I go from working to like passing out on my computer to working the next day, it's not good. You tear your body down like that. So I think that that's very important.
Okay. And like you were saying, when it comes to also balancing, I also learned that if on the health side, if you're not, Your body will shut down on you when you're not getting enough rest, water, not eating right because you're, constantly trying to push yourself.
That's what I said. Personally, going through that experience, I used to work since I was like 20, 23 specifically is when I started to like 30. I worked 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, missed birthday parties, missed all kinds of things. I was just so focused. I was on the computer locked in the whole time. I was drinking tons of sodas and hot pockets and chips and just sleeping 3, 4 hours a night. Eyes felt like sandpaper all the time. And then my body shut down. It just shut down. I didn't know what was happening. I was weak. I thought something was seriously wrong with me. I went to a bunch of different doctors. I couldn't understand what was going on, but it turned out it was stress mixed with not sleeping, mixed with not eating right. It tore my body down. So now I tell people, rest, take a nap, like look away from your computer, take an hour in between like breaks. Like I'm a big believer in that now because I had to experience what which was one of the most trying times in my life. For like 4 or 5 months, I thought it was something was seriously wrong with me. Turns out I was just overworked, overstressed, and very unhealthy in what I was eating and what I was doing. So learned from that, and that made me better. That made me more successful. I was able to get more work done, but I had to experience that. And now, so I tell people nowadays, it's like, don't overwork yourself, man. Find that balance and relax. There's always another day tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah, we don't want to have it where your body forces you to do what you should be doing
It
already.
did. It did.
Definitely don't want to do that.
Scary
Um,
time.
what are some things as far as learning from adversity and defeat? Like some things that you might have went out for and it didn't work out well. How do you bounce back from that?
Yeah, tons of time, tons and tons of time. I think part of being a successful entrepreneur is understanding that every month, every day, every week is not going to be the best. But like I said, staying persistent, everything's going to be fine. So I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments that I thought were going to be good. This is not anymore, but like, starting this, I lost 10,000 here, 20,000 here, invested into this. I've owned almost any type of business you can think about, whether it's from a painting company to a restaurant to an automotive industry to a moving company, obviously advertising, marketing. I've tried my different ventures and everything, and some I've made money, some I've lost money, but in every single scenario I've learned. And I think that's the most important thing to take away from it, is like knowing that you're investing your money and you're risking something to get something better, but it's not always going to happen. And being okay, right, and being hearted enough to run through those things that don't work out and say it's okay. The next one's going to work out even better. But that's that's kind of the mind frame that I've always adapted, especially going through these experiences, because you're not. It's not always going to be. It's not always going to be what you want it to be, and it's always not. It's not always going to be a successful venture. But understanding you have to learn, because if you don't learn from that experience, then you just wasted $10,000, right? But at least if that $10,000 taught you a very valuable lesson that will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future, then it was worth it, right? And that's the way I like to look at it. Because there's going to be diversity, there's going to be setbacks, there's going to be things that always don't work out as planned or don't work out as fast as you want them to, but you got to be persistent and push through it. Honestly, that's what you have to do.
So, in your opinion, what is something like a market or a business that you feel like is the place to be right now?
Wow, that's good. That's good. So there's obviously a lot of money. There's a lot of money being made in crypto right now. There's a lot of money being made in the NFT space. I think that's going to be one of the huge things coming up here really, really soon. It's like one of those things like where, people are like, oh, I heard about Bitcoin back in the day and I never really jumped on it. Well, the NFTs, I think if people are watching to look into NFTs and what they are and how they work, I think that's going to be a huge, tech boom here in the next year or so. It's already starting to make a wave. I think that is something that people need to obviously look into because it's going to be something big for sure.
What about and I know you said you were into several different industries. What
Yeah.
about the real estate? Is that something
Oh
to
yeah. Yeah. Long term generational wealth is not should be built in real estate. Um, residential real estate, whether it's owning a house, duplex, an apartment, whatever the case is, that would be a place to start. And then obviously if you can, once you put your portfolio together If you can jump into commercial real estate, owning a complex where you have a bunch of little businesses paying you money, that's obviously the route you want to go. I watched the documentary on the McDonald's thing on Netflix. Did you ever watch that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that was key to me because I knew McDonald's was this big thing, but I didn't know they were one of the largest owners of real estate in the world because they buy all the lots in which the burger places sit on. And I thought, isn't like how genius is that, right? Everybody, us from the outside looking in, think it's just a hamburger place, but they're one of the largest real estate owners in the world, and that to me just changed everything. I'm still learning, right? Even at this at today, right? You can still learn about different things because when I think about like when I had my restaurants or whatever, I never thought to buy the space. Like I don't know why. Like, I just didn't. It didn't click to me. But watching that documentary really made me see that like real estate is key. Real estate is super, super key. So um yeah, real estate is where you want to build your generational wealth in for sure.
Absolutely. And that's good. And I worked for a deed place and I never really paid attention to it till you just said it. How people um they're thinking about the house, they're thinking about those things, but the lot that your house and everything sits on, regardless if the house is there or not, you still have to pay or buy the lot it sits on.
Yep.
So when people pass away, and the neighbors want this particular lot, you fighting over division between, this line, don't cross this or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
all based on the lot size. And
exactly.
so that's a good point that maybe a lot of people never thought about is the lot, not necessarily the house that it sits on.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
Yep.
good.
Yep.
Um, let's see. So looking back at the 20-year-old from now, you're here now to then, what was your thought pattern? Like you said earlier, you once you got a taste of success, it was like you're on the pit bull, like I'm on this meat that I just got to keep grinding, I got to keep grinding, and I don't want to go back to not having anything. What was your mind frame like?
Yeah. Yeah, getting that success, my mind frame was I like this, right? Obviously, I like what I'm doing. But I saw I'll always revert back to like meeting people, networking with people, treating people well was key in this business, right? Everybody's heard the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And treating people right will get you what you want. So I always had that same belief, but I'll tell you what, I always tell everybody, if you think the same way at 20 that you do when you're 30 years old that you did when you're 20, then you literally just wasted 10 years of your life. Because through that process, you're supposed to learn, you're supposed to develop new beliefs, you're supposed to mentally grow to be a better person, business person, everything. But if you think the same way you did when at 30 that you did when you're 20, you wasted 10 years of your life. So at 20 years old, I was that pit bull. I was on fire. I was ready to go. I was ready to try anything, do anything, invest in anything. And the roller coasters like this, right? The entrepreneurial roller coasters up and down. So I was willing to do anything and invest in anything and try anything. I mean, I know times where I've drove 3-4 hours on one tank of gas, hoping that I would make it home just because I felt like the seminar was that important to learn something. So it's having that drive that like I know this is gonna pay off. I'm not sure how or why, but it is, and that's kind of very important. Like that's kind of what I at 20 years old. That's what I did. I just ran with it. I was too naive or dumb, whatever, to accept no or to accept that it couldn't work, and I just went for it.
So with constantly learning, what are some things that you do to constantly learn? Like, are you going to seminars yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So I tell somebody like it's so important. Like if you truly listen, you can learn something from every single person. Even my daughter, she's in kindergarten. If you listen hard enough, if you open up your mind, you can learn something from every single person. They teach you life lessons, teach you little things here and there. So yes, I always I engage now more so in, like, just the other night I was watching something on YouTube about the power of listening, how to properly listen, right? How to take in what you're saying to me, get in my brain and like really interpret it and then feedback or response. So the power of listening, how to, like when you told me your name, right? Whether you like, I think when somebody you meet somebody, you're like, hey, my name is Camila. It's nice to meet you. And they're like, cool. And then 5 seconds later, they're saying, what was your name again? The one way to get through that is like, hey, I'm Camila. And I say, nice to meet you, Camila, because now I've said your name and it registers in my brain differently. So in 5 seconds, when I'm like, hey, can you grab my friend Camila a drink? Right? I don't have to say, can you grab my friend? What was your name again? See, so like looking at a YouTube video on learning the power of listening and how to interpret and how to be a better listener can only help you to be more successful when I'm having a conversation with you. Because now you feel like, oh, he was really listening to me. Where 9 times out of 10, somebody's like, what was your name again? Right? So that's how I learn nowadays. I learn through a lot of YouTube videos, people that there's not any specific person that I follow, just if I find something entertaining. And that's a lot of times what I spend my time on too before I go to bed is maybe watching videos that I feel will help me be a better person, better business person, a better listener, a better investor, a better father, things of that nature. And that's, I think that's super important. That's how I learn nowadays.
I think that the power of listening is important, especially in what I do.
Yeah.
With podcasting, no formal teaching or anything like that. It's listening and responding, allowing people to say their truth, whatever that is, and then responding to let them know you're listening. Um,
Absolutely.
so one of the things that is funny to me is my name. And I
Mm-hmm.
was so happy, you just don't understand, so happy that you pronounced it correctly. That's why I had stopped saying my name, because people couldn't say Camila or chose not to listen to what I'm saying. So I said, you know what? Forget it. If you can't say Camila, just say Sunshine. That is so easy. You can't
Mm-hmm.
mess that up. And so
Mm-hmm.
for years, it's embedded in my head. Okay, when the time comes to have children, don't give them a name that's going to be difficult for other people to pronounce.
That makes sense. Makes sense. The first thing, so yeah, I try to listen well, right? I try to really, really listen. So when you were introducing yourself and you said your name, I listened how you enunciated and how you pronunciated your name and how you said it. And so I put that in my brain and said, okay, this is Camila, not Camila, this is Camila. So it's listening to how somebody introduces themselves as well, or says their name. That those little things are so important because it shows people that you care and you're listening, and that's important. I'll keep saying that, it's so important.
And again, that was very key to me, because now, um believe it or not, a lot of people defense is down when you actually become personal with
Yeah.
them. I feel like this conversation, even though I've never met you, it was like, okay, that could be my cousin,
Yep.
or because the relationship has already developed, because now you are purposely listening to what I have to say, and me the same. And
Yep.
so I think in business, or just a general conversation with anyone, it should be this way.
Mm-hmm.
But what tends to happen is people associate with what they already know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, Camila, 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 Camille. And I'm like, where did y'all get that from? I didn't say that at all.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife has a tough name too. It's not a tough name, but it's a tough spelling, and some people just can't pronunciate it right. And she's like, I give up. Like, just call me this or whatever the case is. But like, I think those things are important because it shows somebody right off the back, like, I respect you. Like, to me, respect is everything, 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 and the only thing is respect. And it just shows like I respect you enough to like value listening to you. Honestly, that's really what it is.
Absolutely. So, with you saying your wife, your children,
Yeah.
um, is your family a part of the business, or are they like starting their own businesses themselves?
Yeah, all that. So we've owned a bunch of different businesses. They've been a part of that. They've helped at the restaurant. They've helped. I have a door-to-door marketing service. They've helped with some door-to-door marketing, make some extra money here and there. They've also started their own slime businesses and making bracelets and selling them. They see everything dad does, and my wife also. She's like, obviously, you gotta have a better person behind you, right? She's the backbone, so she does a lot of stuff for herself. She helps me with organizing stuff. Again, I'm not so understanding like your weaknesses, right? Procrastination, organization. She's the best at those things, right? So I got the procrastination thing down. The organizational thing, still rough. I'm a guy at the end of the day. So she helps me with that. You have this, don't forget this meeting, you have this, and she helps me stay better, right? And that's why she's my life partner, because she understands my weaknesses, and she helps me to be better. So yeah, to answer your question, the family's totally on the entrepreneurship. They all want to. I've embedded in them early when they were young. What do you want to do when you get older? And my daughter's like, well, I want to work at a donut shop. I said, no, you want to own the donut shop, baby. You want to own the donut shop. You want it to be your donut shop. So it's like I've always embedded like ownership and understanding that, because I'm gonna throw you for a shocker. I have 6 girls and I have 1 boy. So I feel like my girls, like, obviously, it's very hard for women, even harder than it is for a male entrepreneur, I believe. So it's always embedding these things, like you can be just as good as anybody else, you can do it. But it's embedding those things and helping them to understand that, like, I don't care if you're a female, I don't care what it is. Like, I don't care if you're of this ethnicity or this ethnicity, you can do whatever you want. And I want you to believe that, because I believe in you're ready. So that's been huge in our family. But yeah, they're part of the business. They start their own businesses. They're teenagers. My youngest one is 7. My oldest one is 17. And so we got the range there, and they're all very focused on their future and kind of what they want to do growing up. I want them to know that mediocrity is not okay, and that they can be better, and they should be better because they deserve better.
So, from my understanding, I don't think I missed it, but you didn't go to college, right?
Didn't. So I did go to college for a little while, dropped out, started a business, and ran with it. I never forget, I was in school, and I was talking to some a professor, and I was just like, I don't need, I have everything I need. And that goes back to the self-education, right? I don't think you need formal education. I think you need to self-educate yourself. So I started reading books. I started eating them up. Everything I could learn about the power to influence people's, just any Robert Kiyosaki's, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, just any of these different books that would help me develop the right mindset to be successful in my lane, which is business. That's what I did. And the more I learned about how to read body language and how to talk to people, I became a good salesperson. So then I can sell something, right? I knew marketing, I knew advertising. So I said, I have a lot of keys, and now I have to get the right people together and teach them the same things I know, and let's create a team. And that's how I did it. Personally, that's how I did. I would never knock anybody that says they want to go to school. Like, if that's what you feel your calling is, then do that. By all means, do that. But also, it's okay to not do that as well.
So let's ask the question, the elephant in the room.
Okay.
So with diversity, have you had any issues with the race card?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, still to this day, still to this day, unfortunately, it's a sensitive subject, but unfortunately, racism exists. And I've dealt with it a lot, right? A lot. Like I said, coming from where I came from, and then you know, going through all the things to try and grow up and be the successful entrepreneur. I think at the end of the day, um, you got to let your what you do and how you do it, and in the way and in the manner of which you do it, speak for yourself. Meaning, like, all my business, right? Like, whether it's making somebody a website and ranking them on the front page of Google, or creating a video for them, or whatever it is, you have to let your business speak for you at the end of the day. But don't get it twisted. Those things are out there and they exist, and that's where that hard head, right? That's where that push, right? That persistence still until something happens comes into play. It's like, have that hard head to say, like, I'm not gonna let this person and their naive and their silly beliefs stop me, right? I'm gonna keep going, and that's where I've been able to be successful. It's like, I don't care what you say and how you say it or what you believe about me. I know where I'm going, where I'm headed. And but that absolutely exists. And that's why I tell people like, I've heard Nipsey, probably somebody else has said it, but I've heard Nipsey Hussle say, work on how you react when you feel disrespected, right? That's one of the key things. You feel disrespected and you're from where I'm from. It's like, what would you say? Like, it's like right away, it's like, boom, like it flipped, right? But it's like, work on how you feel work on how you react when you feel disrespected. And I think that's one of the key things is because growing up, right away, we want to revert to like, boy, I was, you know what I mean? So it's like, all right, okay, cool. And then just going out and being successful because the ultimate payback is just being successful and having them look at you like I actually need that person, right? Like I want that person on my team. And I have instances where I knew what I was dealing with and I knew what I was dealing with. And I just kept going and became even more successful. And then they're turning around like, hey, maybe we can use you. And I'm like, I did, very, nah, no, thank you. We're doing something else. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, yeah, yep,
Right.
yep, yep. So it's like, you got to have that hard hit. Just keep going. Like that's going to happen. Right. And I think that, unfortunately, for us specifically, it happens more, but I think it happens in every single, like, I think that there's people, that are Mexican that are racist towards white people. And I think it happens in every scenario.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think it happens to our races more, but it is what it is, and that's the world we live in. We just can't let that be an excuse for stopping us at the end of the day.
So because you're bilingual,
Yeah.
do you feel that that is a advantage of, having multiple languages or
Mm.
no?
I feel like, yeah, I feel like it's an advantage, I guess, but it just depends who you're speaking with, right? Because
Okay.
I may have an accent that this certain individual doesn't like, right? Or I might have but in other cases, I might be able to interrupt in something that somebody else is saying and help with the conversation because I can't speak Spanish, right? Somebody's trying to check out for their groceries or do something that goes back to being nice, right? Like, oh, she's asking this question, and then being able to intervene and help, be nice to this lady because this cashier can't understand or whatever the case is. So in instances, it's very it's good, and in other instances, it's not too bad. But at the end of the day, you are who you are. God made you who you are, and you have to love yourself. So it doesn't matter. Just keep going.
Absolutely. So on the average, in a year's time, how many seminars do you actually do?
Oof, oof. I was doing a lot. I was doing like I was doing like 12 to 15, which is a lot for me. But now I've scaled it back. I probably do like 3 or 4 a year now, and it just depends. Like I've been paid a lot of money. I've done in front of like 10,000 people, and I've done in front of like 15 adolescent kids at a middle school, like I've talked about. A lot of times money doesn't move me. It's the purpose in which I'm doing it, and what it means to who I'm talking to, right? If you got, CEOs from Fortune 100, 500 companies that have huge budgets, then yeah, I'm not going to say no to money. But at the end of the day, if you have a middle school that doesn't have any budget whatsoever, but feels like you could really impact their kids and save one of them, then I'm there, man. I'm there. You know what I mean? So I do a lot, but also I try to like spread it out to like really help those that I see can benefit in what I have to say the most.
Absolutely. So, of course, with the pandemic, was that a major effect to your businesses or what you do?
Nah, absolutely not. Because I found a way that's just like it's just another roadblock, right? It's just another roadblock that I think to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to find your ways around them. Just so it wasn't actually didn't affect me at all. It actually helped. And what I do in my main business, which is marketing and advertising, everybody went from whatever traditional ways of marketing they were doing off the internet to on the internet. So it just brought us more business and allowed us to help more people. So I think I grew like 60 accounts in that time frame. So it was actually really, really a good thing. It was a blessing. But yeah, at first it was like, oh no, nobody's doing business. Well, they are. They're just finding different ways to do it. So we have to be that. We have to be that. Excuse me. We have to be that avenue, and that's what we did.
Well, again, as I always say, an hour goes past so fast when you're
Yeah.
having fun.
For sure.
And I really truly enjoyed our conversation. I can't wait to meet you in person.
For sure.
And again, thank you for taking the time to make sure that we was on the right time frame.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here. I thank you
So
so much too. Like I said, I know you can have a lot of people here, and I value people's time. And after talking to you, I can't wait to meet you, give you a hug, and say what's up. But yeah, I'm very thankful for having me on. And like I said, if you ever need anything in the future, anything I can do, you just let me know. You have my number, and I'm here for y'all.
oh, I'm gonna use it. Trust
Okay.
me, I'm gonna
Okay.
use it.
For sure.
Again, for all those who have been on, I hope you guys got your questions answered. We said a lot. Again, this was conversations about basically having that mindset to be own your own business, the do's and don'ts. Again, I believe in 6 degrees of separation. You are one person away, one advice away, and one help away from where you need to be in your destiny. Again, thank you for joining in on the Keeping It Real Conversations with Sunshine. And Matthew, I want you to enjoy the rest of your evening, sir.
Thank you. I will. Y'all have a great night. Appreciate you.
No problem. All right.
We'll see you.
Bye bye.